And I get giddy like when I knock on the door and I hear somebody coming to the door. It's like
It's about to happen.
I'm thinking money in the bank. So the first thing is your attitude when you're going up to the door, because I mean, door knocking in general, it's a scary thing.
Big it up, big it up. Yep. Leave in my face. Yeah. Here we go, go. Yeah. Here we go, go.
All right, keeping it real with Mel. We're here with Rich Digiovanna.
Man, you pronounced that right. That's pretty impressive.
We're at Northern Virginia.
Yeah.
You got a real estate team with Remax.
I do.
And you got some special powers and some secret sauce that we'll get into a little bit. But why don't you tell the audience a little bit about kind of your real estate business and kind of what that looks like? Right?
Sure. I got a small real estate team with 2 licensed agents that are working with me right now. I've got a transaction coordinator / VA. He was my virtual assistant. And then I've got an office manager / bookkeeper. And I've been doing this for a long time. I've been since 1987. So I think I've been doing this about 36 years.
36 years. And where were you licensed?
Licensed in Virginia only, and I've gotten a lot of great friends and who are from Tom Ferry's organization here to give great referrals to, and now I got a great company in Washington D.C. to refer to.
Yeah. All right.
But I'm only licensed in Virginia. So.
And when did you first get licensed?
1987.
87.
Yeah, 1987.
You've got less digits in your license number than a lot of.
Yes, absolutely.
We got some skill set, I'm going to come back to that to kind of pre-real estate in a second.
Sure.
So what's your primary in Northern Virginia? But what are the primary areas that you serve?
So my office is in Burke. My Remax office is in Burke, and we also have an office in Woodbridge. And my company Remax Allegiance has offices all over Northern Virginia, Maryland, and I think in D.C. But I've been working in the Northern Virginia area, for 36 years, mostly from Alexandria, Arlington, out to Leesburg, and Alexandria down to Fredericksburg. So it's up in pretty big area.
Little triangle area.
Yeah.
Okay, Leesburg, Arlington, Fredericksburg.
Yeah, there's probably not an area I haven't sold a home in the last, 36 years.
Nope.
Neighborhood or, home.
All right, and now I'm going to get right into it.
Oh.
What is, you have an area of expertise in a certain skill set, a certain marketing. What is that?
Well, I started real estate 36 years ago, not knowing anything about the business. I think there's a guy named Tommy Hopkins. I don't know if you ever read any of his books.
Hopkins.
So I read his book, and he used to wear his band uniform and go door knocking. And I had no idea how to get business. So I started door knocking 36 years ago, and I didn't know what to say or who to say it to. And if somebody said I was just asking, you want to sell your home? And, if you knock on enough doors, someone's going to say yes. So I got pretty successful. And then I got stuck in a rut. Like I was probably doing 30 or 40 homes every year. And then there was one year in May, about 8 years ago, and I had just joined the Tom Ferry ecosystem. I got a coach. And that year, I was a strong listing agent. And I was getting, 20, 30 listings a year. And that year, I don't think I had a listing, and it was May. And 99% of my business was listings. And I said, man, I'm thinking seriously, this may not be the right business for me after being in the business for 20 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
Having a really tough year. So my coach, talking to her on the phone, Kay Fairchild, I don't know if you know Kay, little woman, she said, I want you to get out there and do some door knocking, and I want you to do some Zillow Make Me Move calls, because I had zero business and it was May. And so she said, I'm going to take my size 5 pointy steel-toed stilettos and kick your butt through the phone if you don't get out there and door knock. So I went out door knocking, went through a neighborhood, never farmed the neighborhood. I knocked on 500 doors.
Wow, 500
doors.
How long did it take you to knock 500 doors by yourself?
It took a couple weeks. Yeah,
Okay,
it took weeks.
So in your morning, day to
I
day,
had no business.
water.
What else did I have to do?
Right. So that's a good lesson. Like
Yeah.
if you could sit around, I guess, and complain about it. You could do that. That doesn't help bring business though.
Nothing.
So you got up and you went outside and you did 500
I
doors
knocked on 500 doors,
Okay.
and what's interesting is I talked to 150 people.
Okay. So you got about
About
150 to 500. Yeah, that's a 30%.
I got
30% conversation rate.
150 names, phone numbers, email addresses. Well, you tell me, how else can you can't get that many talking to somebody on the phone.
Right. You could buy leads and
You
you wouldn't
can't-
get 30.
can't
couldn't get
do
30
that.
30% of.
So I got a listing in there.
Okay.
I sold that, and then I door knocked around the listing. Again, in the same neighborhood, people were seeing me 2 or 3 times by now.
Okay.
And then, a couple years later, I had 25 sales in the same neighborhood.
Dominated.
Dominated. And I never farmed a neighborhood, but I knew everybody there, and they knew me. And the door knocking just got me everywhere. But the best part about door knocking, I've knocked on over 10,000 doors.
Wow. Let's take inventory of that. 10,000 doors.
10,000 doors. So we were talking earlier about that magician. He's probably got 10,000 hours at the playing a piano and doing card tricks.
Right.
So when I put 10,000 hours in, realtors in general, salespeople, we love to talk. The best lesson I learned was how to listen.
Right.
And I honed a great script, and we'll do a role play.
Okay.
I think I love my door knocking script. I've honed it over years. I got a great door knocking piece of paper that I check things off while I'm at the door.
Okay.
I don't
So
do it-
so when you come to the door, knock on the door, you guys want to run through it now?
Yeah, we
Real
can
quick?
just do a
Okay.
role play.
Yeah,
This
quick.
is the best way to do this.
So you're prepared.
I've got a notebook. I'm sitting there. I usually pull up the tax records because I want to know. I get excited when I see a tax record where somebody's owned their house for like 10, 15 years. They bought it in the low, and now we're in the high. And then I know I might just skip a few doors. They just bought 2 years ago when the market was high. And there's no way there's no.
So we'll start with you do your homework.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
not just drive another street and then you just turn into the street and just
No,
park
no.
and get out and start knocking doors.
No, you got to do your homework. And I get giddy like when I knock on a door and I hear somebody coming to the door. It's like
It's about to happen.
I'm thinking money in the bank. So the first thing is your attitude when you're going up to the door, because door knocking in general, it's a scary thing. I mean, you're meeting people that you don't even know. You don't think, oh, am I even qualified to be doing this? Why am I doing this? It's freaking 100 degrees out, or it's 30 degrees out, and I've knocked on doors in both, and it ain't
Okay.
fun.
Right.
But, so that I'm walking up to the door, all I'm thinking is, think about this. If you're the old-fashioned cash registers,
Yeah.
so you go cha-ching.
Right.
I want you to try that. What does that do to your face?
Cha-ching. Like you smile.
You're
You can't help it.
smiling.
Right.
So the best thing you can do is you put a big smile on your face, and all I'm thinking is, I hear somebody coming in the door. I'm getting excited because this is money.
Right.
I want to talk to people. If I don't talk to anybody, that's a waste of my time.
Right.
So I'm all excited. So they come to the door, and I knock, knock, knock.
All right. Hi.
Hi, I'm Rich Digiovanna. I'm a real estate broker with RE/MAX, and we just sold your neighbor's house down the street. We had multiple offers over full price, and I'm always looking for more people that might be thinking about buying and selling, and I was just curious. Do you have any thoughts of making a move either now or in the near future?
We were kind of discussing it, but I think we're probably going to stay put for now. I know that house down the street. Yeah, I saw they had the sign in the yard. So you guys sold that house?
Yeah, we sold it under contract in 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, we had a lot of interest in it. How long have you been here?
Been 16 years.
16 years. Oh my God. What do you like most about this home in the neighborhood?
Oh, I love it. It's even though we're right by the highway, we're still a little bit secluded. So it's not like, it's still a few turns to get to our neighborhood, and it's pretty quiet over here.
Right. So the seclusion, the privacy is really important to you.
Yeah.
Great. Anything you don't like about the neighborhood or the house?
No, well, I mean we've kind of outgrown a little bit, and the and the kids are bigger now than when they were weren't even born yet when we moved in. So we're thinking we might need a little bit more space.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. How much more do you think you might need?
Maybe. Well, we're in a 3-bedroom now, so maybe we're thinking we might go to 4 or 5. We're just thinking about it.
You ever thought about putting an addition on this one, or?
We hadn't thought about that.
That's great. So is there a time frame you were thinking about maybe making a move?
Well, I mean, if now that you've mentioned, I mean, we were thinking if we were going to do something, it probably would be in the spring, maybe next year.
Great. I take 1 year appointments. I take appointments up to 5 or 10 years. So
Wow.
what I like to do is keep in touch with you. We send out what's called a home evaluation. It's a great tool. And it's great information on what's going on with all the neighborhood values. And my clients absolutely love it. And I promise you it's not junk mail. And we send it out it can go out every 2 weeks, every quarter, every year. How often would you like to get it?
I mean, and there's no obligation or anything.
No, you can cancel at any time.
Okay, yeah, sure. I'd be open to like a monthly.
Every month? Great. We'll send it to you every month, and it's emailed to you. What's the best email address for you?
Okay, got it. Melvin at exitflagship.com.
Beautiful. Let me ask you a silly question. Is there a price you'd even consider being a seller today?
Well, well, sure. You mean like a make me move type of thing?
Absolutely. If I found a buyer for your house today, like, what would you sell it to them for? What would be a price you'd even consider?
I mean, we've been looking online. We think our house is worth like 600, but I mean, so I guess if we got 700, I mean, I guess we some move.
Yeah, we're probably not quite there yet, but I think in a year or two, depending on the market, we could get there. And yeah, what's great, what I'd like to do is, when it does get to 700, I'd like to give you a call. What's the best number to reach out?
Sure. 202-391 or 418. Yep.
Beautiful. And I promise I never will spam you, or I'll only call you when I have a really serious buyer.
Okay. No, that sounds good.
Yeah. So you said you had some kids that were getting a little older?
Yeah.
How old are they?
Yeah. Well, now they're 14, 16, and 17.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow,
When we
that's
first
great
moved
age.
here, that it was different.
So you raised them all here then?
Yeah.
That's great. Well, I can see a house getting a lot smaller then.
Yeah. Yeah. It's our time this year. We're ready to have a serious conversation about it.
Good. Well, we're going to keep in touch.
Okay.
I'd love to be your realtor of choice. And I've got 36 years in the business doing this, and I'd love to have you on my team, and we'll take great care of you when it gets a little closer to that time when you're getting serious about making a move. Do you have any realtors that you call your own realtor right now?
We have some friends that are the realtors, and my nephew is working on getting his license, so we've got options.
Well, it's great to have friends and family. It's just when things go bad, sometimes you have to, it might be a little challenging.
Yeah.
But
we were talking about that.
yeah, this is all we do, and we'll keep in touch.
Okay.
Mel, great to meet you.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, take care now.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
All right. So that's pretty cool doing it, and so it's very natural, just a conversation, no pressure, not like, hey, you want to sell your house? Like, how can I help you right now? Sign here. None of that.
I'm just their best friend, and I believe in my heart I'm the best realtor for them. I mean, I really am.
Yeah.
That's what I firmly believe. Every door I knock on, every person I talk to.
Yeah, and it comes across really genuine and natural. I didn't feel like you were making me
pushing.
sell or pushing me or anything like that.
And I get invited into houses the same day I meet them, and literally I've been invited in. They're the
During
best
dinner, right?
Yeah, all sorts. I've been invited in, 100 degrees out. Come on in. Let me get you something to drink. It's cold out. Come on in, warm up. I mean, I've had people literally want me to list their house after, talking to them for 20 minutes, sometimes at the door.
Wow. So you've actually gone door knocking and had conversations with people who were like, and you've had to kind of go back to the office, get the paperwork.
Yeah, one situation like that, but there's been a couple situations where, they just met this guy on the street. They don't even know. And they said they weren't seriously thinking about moving. 3 weeks later, they call me. They looked at my website, hey, I'm for real. Then they call me and say, yeah, we just weren't sure about it then, but yeah, we're serious about when selling our house.
So this door knocking stuff works then?
It's the best. I think it's the best one-on-one because you get to see my face, you get to see my eyes, and there's things that you have to be careful about. Like one time I wore sunglasses, really sunny day. I wore sunglasses. I never wear glasses that tint.
Okay.
I have a special pair of glasses I wear when I'm door knocking because if they tint, they can't see your eyes.
Right.
Well, like one day I'm out door knocking, I know my numbers inside and out. If I knock on 20 doors, I'm going to talk to 10 people. I'm going to get 7 to 9 email addresses and phone numbers, and I'll get.
Okay, so you're always asking for the email address of phone number.
Always.
Okay, and keep it on your clipboard.
What if you don't get a phone number or an email address? You wasted your time.
Yeah, because I've heard different theories, and some people say you leave a flyer. I've seen some people not even door knock; they just do door to door and leave a flyer.
I left flyers for years, never got any business. Here's what happened one time. I left a flyer for free ice cream. I was hired an ice cream truck to do an open house. 150 doors I knocked, left 150 flyers, and 50 people showed up for the free ice cream.
Okay.
I guess who showed up? Every one of those people that showed up, I talked to them. I didn't get zero people that showed up that just got the flyer. So what that taught me is it's the connection that's the most important thing.
Right.
Yeah, connecting with them. They don't.
Yeah.
If you
You can't connect through a piece of paper.
No. They just they throw it out.
Wow.
So that's the strongest bond. I think face to face, belly to belly. Maybe it's old fashioned.
But it still works. The fundamentals.
It still works today, even with the nests. I don't get as many people coming to the door because of the nest
and
doorbells,
rings, things.
the rings.
Yep.
But I'll just do my script right there. I've had one guy get on the phone, and he was in Europe, because he saw that somebody was at his door, and I just did my same door knocking script.
Right. So okay. So I'm gonna switch gears a little bit. So were you from Northern Virginia? You're born and raised in Northern?
No, I'm from Connecticut originally, but I was in the military. I was stationed in Seattle, Washington. I call that home just because I fell in love with it when I was out there for 3 years.
So Seattle, Connecticut, then Seattle.
Yeah, I was born and raised Connecticut, family from New York,
Okay.
kind of.
Okay, and then 36 years in real estate. What'd you do before
Oh,
real estate?
God. Before I was in a comedy juggling act touring the world, living the life.
Comedy juggling act.
And before that, I was an officer in the military. Literally, one day I was an officer in the Coast Guard. Next day, I was on tour with an act called Gravity's Last Stand, touring around the world.
Okay, so thank you for your service, first of all.
It was great.
So an officer in the military on day one, retire, and then...
I didn't retire. I voluntarily got out.
Oh, okay, and then a comedy juggling act.
Yeah.
That's something. And how many years did you do that?
4 years.
4 years, and you were all over the world.
All over the world.
So tell me, how'd you get into that?
Oh, man. My dad taught me to juggle when I was at the beach. We used to watch him juggle stones. He'd pick up 3 stones and juggle them on the beach, and we just juggled baseballs while we were playing baseball. And then at the Coast Guard Academy, we started a juggling club. Like, what the heck is a juggling club doing in a Coast Guard Academy? We were riding unicycles and juggling in the corridors and when we had free time. And some of us took it a little more serious and started a comedy juggling act.
Okay, so your team members in the juggling act were also...
2 of them were. Yeah.
2 Coast Guard.
2 out of 3 of us.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Where'd you guys, and you guys travel all over the world? Where'd you go?
It was in New London, Connecticut is where the Coast Guard Academy was. I've been all over Europe, USO tour all over the Sinai Desert, Italy, Germany. We did these mountain sites where they put us in a helicopter with open doors and we flew to all these mountain sites.
Wow.
And then we did World's Fair, travel around the country doing college market, colleges.
Wow, let's see. So met a lot of people, and also, and I guess took your, in that experience probably helped with the door knocking.
Absolutely. You know what helps is having some experience around the world and being able to talk to somebody about just about anything. And I've been all around the world. If somebody tells me where they're from, I'll try to find out where the best food is, especially in the country. I'm always looking for best place to eat. These are things people want to talk about, and I can usually talk about something when I'm at the door.
So building the connection.
Absolutely. And, when you're going up to the door to knock, you might see their military family. So I use that to my advantage. Hey, I saw you're military. And I see a lot of signs that said, no soliciting. Those are the best people to knock. I mean, they're some of the best. So I saw this no soliciting sign, big Semper Marine flag on the door. So I just knocked on the door and I figured, a guy comes to the door. What are you doing knocking on my door? I said, hey, I just want to appreciate your service. And thank you so much. It looks like you're in the Marines. You're in the military. Thank you so much. I was a Coast Guard officer. Thank you so much. And then, oh, by the way, I'm always looking for more people thinking about buying and selling. I was just curious if you had any thoughts of making a move, either now or in the near future.
Right.
Just go right into
into
the
the
script.
script.
The no solicitors are some of the best.
Yeah, I found that too in doing door knocking, that the ones that, so it's kind of the ones that put up the most resistance, those are the ones that actually do need the service. And if you can push through that first barrier, Usually then they open up and
they're the weakest people, and they're like me. If you're a Cub Scout or Girl Scout bringing something to the door, I can't. I have to buy.
right.
I'm buying.
Right. Well, what's the share kind of the most interesting story out of doing a door knocking?
Door knocking. Oh gosh.
I know you got plenty, but what's one that stands out?
Probably the best situation is the guy who literally wanted me to come in and list his house right there. $500,000 home a couple years ago. Another great story. This is a great story. So when you're putting up directional signs, always get the owner's approval. Always. Don't just put a directional sign in somebody's yard. So even when I know it's not in their yard, I knock on their door and get permission. And they usually say, oh, you're like the first realtor that's ever asked. I've sold 3 homes by putting signs in people's yards. So I'm always looking for the nicest home on the corner to put my directional sign because it's a potential sale.
Right.
And so, yeah, one time I just did my door knocking script. 3 months later, $10,000 commission. And so, I mean, the average, whenever I go door knocking, for every hour, I'm making $1,000 to $10,000 an hour. Sometimes it could be a 5-minute call, like putting a directional sign up.
Right.
And you get a $10,000 commission 3 months later.
Right.
So rate of return.
So we're talking about that. So we can complain, which is what sometimes a lot of times folks find themselves in complaining mode, which doesn't solve anything. You get up, you do something about it, and not only is it marginal, you're getting amazing results.
Yeah,
$1,000.
The only thing that kind of put things on a hold was when COVID happened. I stopped door knocking, and it was a real tough time. I mean, but I had so much business still from my previous, 7 years of door knocking.
Right.
I'm still getting people calling me in a neighborhood that I farm.
Okay, that's good stuff. And tell me, and one thing on a non real estate, you're into rowing.
Yes. Oh my God.
And in pretty good shape, as we can see.
Yeah, I'm going to share with you. I'm in the best shape I've ever been. I'm 64 years old. I tell people I'm not halfway through my life yet, and that's how I live it. And my energy is, I just will blow it out with energy. I can feel the energy just being here.
Yeah. So tell me, and you're still practicing, you're actively.
So that, you want to talk about a funny situation? I door knocked. That's how I got into rowing. So I knock on the door. I see this ice chest on the front door. It says Coach Cumpy. So I go, I knock on the door, and the wife comes to the door. I go, hey, who's Coach Cumpy? What kind of coach is he? Oh, he's a rowing coach. Well, my knees are shot. I have a bad shoulder. I have screws in my toes, and I've always been an athlete. But I said, I've always thought about rowing. I sold a house one time to an Olympic rower, and I asked him, what can I do? Because my knees are shot. I can't run anymore. He said, have you thought about rowing? So that's how I kind of got started that way.
Upper body, core.
Oh, it's
everything.
85% of your body muscles are all used in rowing. I mean, it's incredible. It's huge. And everybody thinks it's arms. It's your legs, your back, your core, and the arms are very little, maybe 10, 15% at most.
Wow.
But so I got into this competitive rowing club now, and I race. I mean, it's addictive because I'm very competitive, and I'm rowing against Olympians, and I'm not very good at it yet, but all these people started when they were this big, and I just started a couple of years ago rowing competitively, and I traveled, up and down the East Coast rowing.
Yeah, and then just like anything else, I mean, you were, now that you're a superstar realtor, you didn't, on day one, when you passed the test that next day, you didn't sell 10 houses, right? You started where you were, and you got better at it, and now with rowing, and you're actually competing, so you're not just, you're not playing around.
Yeah. So my first race, this is kind of funny because I took dead last. I mean, by a significant amount. It was only 1,000 meters, which is not very far. It's like it's supposed to be a 4-minute race. It was 4 minutes and 45 seconds for me.
Single minute?
Single skull.
Okay,
that was my first race in a single. I'd race in a double and a 4 and an 8. And so I've done all those before. And that was a lot of fun, team boats, but I wanted to see how good I could get in a single. So I thought my first race was, terrible. So when you watch the Olympics, you hear the sounds that goes, when they cross the finish line, it goes beep, beep, beep. And we're just waiting around. beep. Oh, there's Rich.
Right.
So
All right. And how many races have you done since?
I haven't done. I just started racing.
Oh, just okay.
Us in my singles. So
Okay.
one race I took dead last year. I raced in 2 races this year. My goal was not to take dead last.
Okay.
So I didn't. I took like 7th and 6th.
Okay.
And next year, and I've gotten a lot better since then because guess why?
Practice.
I'm getting coached by great coaches. I got a coach in Austria, world-class coach, and I got a local coach here. I'm on the water. I spend my money. I get great coaching. They watch me.
Okay. So
That's a great point.
That's a recurring theme. So
Yeah.
So just like if we circle it back to your real estate business, you don't just pull into a neighborhood and jump out the car and run up with, oh, I don't have cards, I don't have a clipboard. No, you're prepared and you're practicing, and then you're getting coaching. So you're finding people that have been there, done that, and taking guidance from those folks.
Yeah. And be a great, I mean, it's be coachable. And that was hard for me until about 7 years ago when I joined Tall Ferry.
Yeah, well, you're a driver, you're a go-getter. So it goes guard, you know.
Being coachable. I was used to being in charge of everything. But you can't tell me how to do something.
I already know it.
Yeah.
But once you kind of let your guard down a little bit, you became vulnerable, became open to learning and growing. Right. And it sounds like that's when you really started seeing advancement in your real estate business.
Yeah, I doubled my business, first couple of years. And I've just started growing a team now. So it's like, why did I wait this long? Now I'm seeing the results of that, hoping it. I'm at the stage of my life, 36 years. I'm thinking, I'd like to be more of a manager and teach and educate and motivate.
So speaking of motivation, what would you say to any, small business owners that might be out there thinking about, they're listening to this like, well, door knocking, I don't know if, that might not be for me, or, what would you say to that individual that's watching in terms of what they can do to really move their business forward?
That's a great point, because it was like a marketing graveyard when I'd walk up to houses, because they had 5 things stuck in the door, and that's why I never left anything for a number of years. Now, I did start leaving things because I got a sale from it.
Mm-hmm.
So I've only had 1 sale from more actual information that they read and said, hey, come on over. I'd like to interview you to list our house. But it was like a marketing graveyard. And the reason it is because people just stick stuff on. There's no connection. If the pizza places actually said, try to hire a door knocker, like I think I could help a lot of businesses train their people to knock on the door and try to connect with people, and sell their products.
Yeah.
Because it's face to face.
And so you would say that just to get out there and just have more conversations face to face.
Yeah. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Connections and conversations. Today, we're in a world where it's hard to talk to anybody. Nobody picks up their phone anymore.
Everyone wants to text or...
best times to door knock, community yard sales. Great time to go. Take your dog. Take your baby. That's money.
And go to the community yard sales, just start meeting people. So even not, so really more of a figuratively door knocking, because you're not actually going to the house, but you're still meeting the people and having the conversation.
Absolutely.
And you're doing it in a condensed...
You're doing this. I do my script everywhere I go. And it works. It works on the phone. It works on, knocking on the door. It works wherever you are.
Wow, that's awesome. So meeting people, getting out there, building connection. That's going to work. The numbers game, and that's going to be with any business.
Absolutely.
What's going to help drop business. So let me ask, if someone's in Northern Virginia from, Frederick, Leesburg, Arlington, anywhere in Northern Virginia, how would they reach you?
Anytime, call me at 571-655-3753, 571-655-3753, or just Rich D at isellvirginia.com.
That's an awesome email address.
Yeah, I got it right when, I've been in this 30 years. So I learned from a guy out in L.A., I can't remember his name, but he had something at I Sell L.A. or something. Said, I better get that.
Right.
So, yeah, I've had it forever.
Okay, awesome. So we've got phone, we've got email, call, text, I Sell.
Yeah.
And
I just started on Instagram, just learning.
Hey, let's
so
do
you
it.
can teach an old dog new tricks.
Right.
And I met a lady by Kate Newey, who's just a queen of social networking, and she learned from Glenda Baker.
Okay.
So it's just a great.
So what's your Instagram? Go ahead and share it too.
I don't even know.
All
It's
right.
just at Digiovanna at Digiovanna Realty Group.
At Digiovanna Realty
Yeah.
Group. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we'll find you. So make sure you guys like and subscribe if you're on YouTube, or
Perfect.
give a call, give a text, and an email. I appreciate you hanging out with
Well,
us.
man,
Pick it up,
pleasure.
pick it up.
Thank you.
Clean